Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Ethan. As always with us is the Joker, Devon. How are you doing?
Want to see how I got this card?
I do, I certainly do. Actually forgot. I remember seeing it, but this time, my question wasn't just a sarcastic question. They do a bunch of that kind of stuff in Japan. There's like a Pokemon segment that uses like these weird cards and all that. But and there's like always the bug fighting stuff uses those. But we're not talking about that stuff right now. Devon, you and I like video games. We like talking about video games. We do a whole thing where we talk about video game movies here on the channel. But we got favorite video games. Do we know what our favorite video games are? I mean, I guess I know mine. I think you know yours, but I don't think we know each other's. You pitched this idea. Why don't you explain what we're doing? Explain yourself. That's what the spreadsheet is for, so I don't have to do that. Yeah.
Then I was like, why don't we both tier our own video games, top 10 favorite games that we've played in our lives, and maybe guess each other's favorite games, or at least rank them, because I think we were just guessing. We could theoretically be here all night. So we both separately brought 10 video game movies that we like. 11. That's right, we have 11 video games.
That's right.
Video games that we like, and we're ranking what the top 10 are, and basically we're going to go back and forth, putting this list together, and making a guess. So not in real time will I put, let's say Ethan has Bloodborne, all they're in alphabetical order too at the top there, so this isn't like the current ranking. If I pick, let's say I think Bloodborne's his favorite game of all time, I'm not going to be like, is it 1? And Ethan's like, no. Is it 2? No. Like, we're not going to do that. Basically what we're going to do is have different rounds where we each go, we're picking, we put them down, and we'll talk through our picks for the sake of the stream, explaining how you're ranking them, and then the next person will rank theirs, and then at the end of the round we'll say, yep, you got this many correct, and here's the ones you got correct, so they'll be locked in. Ethan, you want to maybe show just an example of the Bloodborne there, drag it down to first.
Absolutely.
So I'll put it down for first, and let's say that's right, it would stay there. If it's wrong, Ethan will remove it. So once we have them all there, you'll see that we'll remove them. And I'm very curious how this will go. I think, I'm not a mathematician, but if I'm not mistaken, this could theoretically take maybe thousands of rounds. Theoretically, we just keep getting them all incorrect. both back and forth. Yeah, but whoever gets it first wins. But then maybe we can keep going to figure out the rest just for fun. As you know, here we like to do game shows to spice things up a little bit. Yeah, so I think we're just gonna go through these, and I'll say for me, just to preface, I don't have a list written anywhere. I did have to think about it quite a bit, and I just kind of went with my gut going through these. And maybe if you ask me to do it again right now, it might change. But for the sake, I have all the correct answers written on my phone. And this was really tough for me to do. Yeah, I'm curious because I feel like I'm actually surprised. Maybe we just say that. Let's just start with, before we even rank it, just say if any surprises or maybe, yep, that makes sense, opinions. I'll say this. I'm surprised by the lack of Final Fantasy. I thought there'd be a little bit more Final Fantasy. And also, I remember we having a conversation of how Bloodborne was kind of made your top 10 more in the last year or two. Even just Demon Souls in general too. I know, like, when that game came out, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot, and then you want it being one of your favorites. Not surprised by Legend of Zelda. Sonic Adventure, I'm not surprised. We've talked about that quite a bit on this show. I honestly kind of forgot about Nier Automata in my list, I'm not gonna lie.
I honestly figured it would be on yours. I made our thumbnail before I saw your total list, so I was like, oh yeah, I'm pulling 4 out of my list, but I know Nier Automata is probably on his as well, so it's like 1 for both of us. I was surprised that was not the case.
But that was kind of my first reaction. I was like, okay, got 2 like Souls games on here, only 1 Final Fantasy, and then Nier I kind of forgot about, but at the very least I would say top 15 for me. I actually wrote down 12 games for myself, and then I was kind of iffy on an 11. So
okay,
I was like, it doesn't matter at this point. We needed 10, so I just subtracted one of them. And I'll say this, just for fairness, Pokemon Crystal version, I kind of just wrote that down to kind of represent also Gold and Silver.
Okay.
Just so we did match up
as well
on one of them.
Gold was I got before I got Crystal. I had Gold and then later got Crystal. So, but yeah, I'm with you as well. I do want to point out, already having a couple technical difficulties. Our video seems to be fine. When I started, I pulled the wrong slider down for audio, and Devon was just deafened a bit. It still picked you up,
okay.
But I meant to deafen the music, so the music was overpowering you, but people could still hear you fine. I was like, man, the music's still loud. Maybe I gotta turn it down more. I'm like, oops, I got the wrong
We're
thing.
figuring it out, folks. We're figuring it out.
And then the freaking chat thing, which we go back and forth on whether or not we want to keep, has just stayed up permanently. Even though I clicked the setting that says, don't have it be permanent, have it go away after 30 seconds.
It's just
not
listening.
Save, and it wasn't listening, so I disable that, so we won't be able to tell if anyone subs to us. I'm sorry. But this is all something. This is a nice cached type of stream. We'll be able to watch this as a video later and really get to know each other. Surprises on your list that I had: 2 God of Wars, really? Guitar Hero. I know you're a big Godzilla nerd. And obviously I know about Dino Crisis and Counter-Strike. I would have been proud of you if you kept Counter-Strike off the list. Like, yeah, I play it every week. I don't like it though. It's a job. And then Alien Isolation, I forgot you even played that. I think you played it on PC. That's why I wrote PC down for what you have. I don't know if you can see my mouse, Devon.
Yeah, I can. I didn't even notice till right now that little detail of what platform it was playing on. But yes, yes, that looks correct.
Okay. Actually, I had this realization looking at my list. All of my games are Japanese. All of my games were made for one platform. None of my games are multi-platform.
So
Unless you count
exclusivist.
You could play Pokemon Gold and Silver on a Game Boy. Doesn't need to be Game Boy Color. And yes, there was a GameCube kind of port of Ocarina of Time, but that's not the same as Kingdom Hearts was also on GameCube and Xbox. It wasn't, but it's not like that thing. So very, very interesting. Yes, so like Devin said, we're gonna go round by round. He's gonna guess all of my games, and I'm gonna guess all of his, and then we're gonna tell each other what one's wrong. First person to get it completely right wins. And yeah, our 11th game in somewhere in this list, in both of these lists, we like. I assume you like your 11th game. I like my 11th game.
Yeah.
It's not my 11th, but it's one where I'm like, I think this person assumes it's gonna be in my top 10. So that's why I have it as my ringer. I think you have it as well. So we're going to try to figure out which one of those on each other's list is the red herring.
It's funny is I'm starting to forget what I actually put like in the actual order in my head. I mean, like I said, I wrote it down.
I wrote
so
mine
that's actually
down,
gonna
too.
help. That's gonna help my poker face because I already know I have an awful poker face. I'm so bad at like lying. We actually did at work a like I'm doing like this manager training, and we did like this 2 truths and a lie kind of icebreaker thing, and I did like, and they had to be related to like your like work or whatever, and so I struggled to even like come up with 3 real things, let alone 2, and eventually got through it, but they all guessed it like right away. They're like, oh, that one. I'm like, really? Like, spent like 20 minutes trying to figure this out in my head of like what is
one where you embellished
actual...
a little bit longer, one where you paused, one where you stuttered. Right. Okay, why don't we get into it? Why don't you guess my list first, since we'll go left and right.
Oh man.
So
So I'm the ones where I'm like confident, at least knowing that they're on the board, is Sonic Adventure 2, 100%. Kingdom Hearts, very confident on that one. Metal Gear, I'm like, I was gonna be shocked if there wasn't a Metal Gear on this list. I'm a little surprised on Pokemon, but I don't know. There's only one that's not, so it's tough to guess that one. But I think I'm like maybe half of them I'm like confident are at least on the board. So I can so I feel like it's a good start. So what I think I'm gonna do first is gonna go with what I'm the most confident in, and like I'm probably wrong, but I'm gonna go Kingdom Hearts at number 1. I feel like you've talked about this game a lot. I feel like you might have mentioned it to me multiple times that it's at least in your top 3, if not your favorite game of all time. So let's do Kingdom Hearts at number 1. Now, I know, we're a Sonic movie podcast. Do I want to put that at 2? Is that too high? But sometimes that nostalgia, that childhood nostalgia, really just bumps up your stock. Or do I want to do Final Fantasy? Or do I want to do Metal Gear? I'm gonna go Metal Gear at number 2. Why not?
Okay.
Do Metal Gear at number 2. Lock it in.
Hopefully folks notice that our numbers are over here. It's not
going
13,
down.
14, 15. It's
for the sake of this too. I don't want to swap too much. I'm gonna kind of just work my way down.
Okay.
We'll see how much I swap though. Man, Pokemon is like iconic though. Is it that high though?
Pokemon is iconic, yes. The most profitable media franchise in the history of the world. Made more money than anything Disney ever has.
Unfortunately, I'm going to do Metroid Prime at 3, though.
Okay.
And if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime, make sure...
We're not on Twitch yet.
Then I'll do Pokemon 4.
Okay.
I'm already not liking this, but I'm just kind of... I need to start somewhere. You know what I mean?
Sure,
I can, I don't want to... Then let's do...
I will say that so far, you have 6 of them wrong.
Right.
At least. Maybe.
Let's do Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time as next. A good 90s, in there.
Oh yeah, and I did write the release year for the video game, if that wasn't obvious. Then we don't have to write 2005 and 2018, for those. And, Demon Souls had a remake, but...
Let's do Final Fantasy 10 next.
Okay.
I'm kind of liking that. I can deal with getting some middle ones because that'll help. I think differentiate differentiate. Do I want to? Now, with Demon Souls and Bloodborne, I don't know which one's higher. I feel like Demon Souls. I think, but I can see Bloodborne because it's a little newer, and arguably has a cooler aesthetic. I'm gonna do Demon Souls next.
Okay.
Just because I feel like that's what started it all for you, so I feel like you're gonna put that a little higher. And then we'll just do Bloodborne.
Okay.
Just for the sake of, I feel like it's an easy thing to do. Now it's real tough.
You still have to cut one, remember?
I know. Would he cut Sonic on the Sonic movie show's channel? I'm gonna put Nier Automata. I'm confident that's on the list, and I have to pick one of these that isn't. So I'd rather pick the one that's good. I'm gonna do Sonic Adventure. I'm gonna see if he's gonna cut our boy out.
Wait, we want Sonic at number 10, or do you want it cut?
No, sorry, at number 10. I'm just gonna see if I'm hoping you didn't cut him.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna just double check in this list here. Kingdom Hearts, Metal Gear, Metroid. I like those. I don't know if they're right order, but I feel like they're in the top.
You like the idea of someone liking those games that much. Okay.
I feel like for you, they are in the top 5. So I'm hoping I get one of those correct, maybe 2. Pokemon, I feel like maybe I'm putting a little high, but I'm kind of banking on it being like, I feel like there's a lot of like games that kind of started it all for you kind of in here. That's what I'm hoping for. Or maybe Pokemon Gold was like, so I know for both of us, like we both played the OG ones, but I know that like that's when we started to have more of a conscience and be able to write, you know,
I
and
owned
stuff.
Gold before I owned Blue, but I could have owned Blue before Gold, but I would.
See, I went in chronological order. That was one of the actual games I did get consistently, which is crazy because, like I said, growing up, or growing up, I didn't really get the newest games all the time, newest consoles. But they're
Pokemon. I mean,
well, Pokemon was Pokemon. Grandma always hooked me up on that, so shout out to Grandma.
I was actually, because I was in a similar boat. You know, some years are different than others. I was just shocked. There was a day where I was with my stepfather. We were at GameStop for whatever reason. I think this was the GameStop on Ridge Road.
Shout out to Ridge Road.
And we weren't there for, I think maybe he was returning something or trading. I don't remember what, but I like, you know, did the kid thing where I'm like, can I have this? Can I have this? And I was shocked. He said yes to 2 things begrudgingly, and it was a brand new copy of Metroid Prime 2 and a used copy of Pokemon Leaf Green version.
That's crazy.
I was like, this can happen? You
No,
shouldn't
up
have said
until,
yes, because now miracles happen, and I know this. I'll ask all the time.
I think it was up into Ruby Sapphire era because I didn't have a. No, sorry, that was Game Boy. I was gonna say up to that point, like I remember I got Crystal. That's why, like I said, top like Crystal I kind of combined with Gold and Silver because I got all of them at the same time. That was probably one of the best Christmases ever. My grandma, like I remember. She like stacked them. She wrapped all of them individually, but stacked them. And she had always a thing where she did like the ribbons. Like she always super tight too, so you need scissors to cut it. She really loved, I think, low key seeing all the kids fight.
Right. They just want to open it so badly.
Yeah. That's one thing I always miss. But I remember them all being stacked. And it was like, I don't remember what order it was, but. For my own sake, I'm gonna pretend that it was, you know, Silver, Gold, and Crystal. And I remember, but Crystal really just always liked the colors more, and he's my favorite.
And that was a true Game Boy Color exclusive. It couldn't run on a regular Game Boy. Gold and Silver could, to a somewhat lesser extent. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna lock this list in. I mean,
okay.
I can, like I said, I can be here theoretically forever, changing everything. This is round 1. And if you get it first try, then tip off for you. I can't really be mad about that. So we'll see.
Okay. So my turn to guess your list. I will tell you this right off the bat. Number 1 is between God of War and God of War. Which one, I don't know. I know you don't shut up about either of them, but I feel like we're talking firsts first. I feel like God of War 2005, the original, David Jaffe special,
which I wasn't allowed to play, even though it was gifted to me by my dad because he realized there was sexual content in it.
Too
So
bad.
my cousin played it for me the first time. So, but I didn't play a couple.
Yeah,
years
that was
later.
a kind of a dumb mini game where it's like the candle and it's just like keep the rhythm.
To be fair, it wasn't as explicit.
Juvenile.
But also,
it's in that like juvenile kind of.
But yeah, 2005. I think I got it maybe in 2006. Or maybe 2007 even. I was 11, 12 years old, so I get it. But it's just my dad was funny. He just didn't read the back while I was reading it.
Right. Yes, which is like, I don't want to hear anyone complain about like video game ratings because parents do not look at them; they just buy. You know what I mean? We should have honestly used the TVMA ratings, or what the film industry uses.
Yeah, honestly,
parents understand what an R-rated movie is. They all went and they saw Goonies, Gremlins 2, and Indiana Jones, and I think all three of those were PG-13. Well, Goonies would have. Put Goonies aside.
PG.
Gremlins and Raiders of the Lost Ark should have not been the ratings they were. They should have been bumped up, and they kind of started that. Okay, so yeah, God of War the original, I think is your number one. I think God of War 2018 is in your top 3. Whether or not it's number 2, I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with a game that I just can't stand. I enjoy playing it, but like I'm tired of it. You think Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, CS:GO, or I guess CS2, they're the same game. They updated CS:GO to call it CS2 so they wouldn't split the player base. That's what Overwatch did. They don't want people playing the old one.
They don't want
better. And that's the type of game.
They did better decisions though than what Overwatch.
Sure, but that is the type of game. Those players, those Counter-Strike players,
have been death threats.
They would have been like, I hate this change. I will never play CS2. I will just continue playing the game I already like, right? So, yeah. Okay.
Someone said,
CS2.
What's up,
How's
bro?
it going? I think that's your number 2. Then I think I'm going to keep consistent with my opinions here. I think you think God of War the reboot 2018.
I think you think we think
Kratos, boy. I think you think that's number 3. Now, another game you don't shut the fuck up about, Dino Crisis. But is that a meme? Do you actually care? Do you actually care?
You've seen my desktop wallpaper, though. And it's been Dino Crisis since you've played
use it because it's on a stream. Who knows? I'm going to commit
my wallpaper
and say Dino Crisis 2 is your number 4. You're going to be hopefully not shocked at what I think is your red herring number 11 that isn't in your top 10. Now I said I was kind of shocked that Guitar Hero at all was on there and Madden, but I wasn't surprised that Godzilla Save the Earth. I thought it would have been King of the Monsters. That wasn't Godzilla. But there was a video game that was
Godzilla. There was one before it called.
There was a Godzilla fighting game that had Melee in its name that people always joke
Godzilla Melee
about.
was the first one. Then it was Godzilla Save the Earth, which was the first one to come to PS2. And then there was the Wii one called Godzilla something. And I never played that one because I didn't have a Wii. Something, but Godzilla Save the Earth is a fighting game. Yeah.
Okay. Despite that, I don't think that's next. I'm gonna go with Dead Space as your number 5. That's my current
That's
guess.
the original one. People can't see
PlayStation
that.
3, 2008.
I haven't finished the remake, but mostly because I fell off of it, just because I don't have time to play as many games. And also, when we switched to daylight savings, I can't play that game in the morning or with any daylight. It's got to be.
And then scare your dog.
I know.
Dogs, what happened to the daytime?
My cat.
So now
especially.
here's the thing. You did something. So on my list, you did 2 things on my list. That one of them I think is indicative of how your list is. The other I don't think is indicative. Number 1, you were debating whether or not you put Pokemon too high. Because I think you didn't have Pokemon too high on your list. Another thing you did is you put 2 very similar games next to each other. I think you purposely avoided doing that on your list. So Alien Isolation is not number 6.
I could be doing a poker face. I said earlier I have a bad one, but maybe that's a lie.
I wasn't honestly watching your face during that. So I don't think Alien Isolation is your number 6. I'm going to throw it out there that Madden NFL 09, if this is the dead ringer just because we're going to be playing it soon, then I'm going to be a little mad. I think that is your next one. Then I'm going to put Pokemon Crystal. Then, God, Uziwa. Then Alien Isolation.
Gotta be top 3.
And then
I like Bloodborne a lot. I didn't finish it, so...
I have a friend out there.
I'm saving out for when there's the inevitable remaster remake, and then I'll finish it, because it was more of just I got stuck in the
you can do it.
Area.
The games just need to click for you. It did for me, and all of a sudden I was like a master.
I agree. I just got stuck in the portal worlds at that one point in the game where you don't realize you can get stuck in it, and then everything's kicking my ass, and then I forgot about playing there. I just didn't go back to it, and now it's been so long. I'm afraid to jump into
You just have to start
really
over.
Hard...
Yeah. My friend Brett, sometimes he watches the streams. He started with Elden Ring, really loved it, and was like, because the open world nature of it allowed you to like back off from the intended path, right, and then just fuck around and you get stronger. So he really liked that, and he chafed against Bloodborne, chafed against Demon Souls PS5, and then it just kind of clicked for him, and he beat Demon Souls PS5, and he's like asking me like, which should I get, Dark Souls 1 or 3? And I'm like, well, Dark Souls 3 is the closest to Elden Ring. A lot of the animations are the same, so it's going to feel the same. Play that one. I've been going through Dark Souls 3 because I want to platinum it. Go through it. He just streams through it. I show him where to find the best weapon in the game, and then he streams through it. And then he goes and he plays Dark Souls 1. He beats that motherfucker. Yes, I told him how to item duplicate the glitch to allow you to just level up to like 300 pretty quickly. Sure, whatever. Games isn't easy just because you're that high level. He does that. I then introduce him to Dark Souls 2, the best of the 3, and he beats that. He says it's a pain, and now he's on Bloodborne. He's like, oh, he just finds this way much easier than he did the first time. Once those games click, they click.
No, I did a lot better after.
So I'm going to replace your list with Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne's on there, Sekiro, I haven't played that yet.
That is unironically probably someone's like list out there.
Absolutely,
they haven't
because they're
touched
awesome
anything
games.
else.
They're awesome.
I know, but like they haven't played anything else though. They're like, that's it. I don't have a top 10. I have a top 6 of.
And everyone in China has Black Myth Wukong on their list, I'm sure.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. I think your 10th game is Guitar Hero 3. I think you put Rust on there. I think you like the game, but I think you hate a lot of it, and the idea of trying to play it effectively frustrates you because it requires a month of your time. Like, you have to treat it like a hobby. Like, it's the only way we're able to play it. So that's what I think your top 10 is. God of War, the original CSGO, God of War, the 2018 game, Dino Crisis 2, the original Dead Space, Madden NFL 09, which released on PlayStation 3 in 2008, Pokemon Crystal, Godzilla Save the Earth, Alien Isolation, and Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock. Did you play that on PS2 or PS3? Because it was on both. I put down PS2.
I think PS3.
Really?
Because it was a little bit later. We got it for Christmas. And Jarek was...
It came out in 2007. Did you play it in 07?
That's probably... Maybe 08? 07?
Well, it doesn't matter. I was just curious, because like all my games are on their own platform, so I didn't even have to think of like what I played them on, because that is what I played them on. All right.
The Rust 9 to 5 is crazy.
It is.
It's not a 9 to 5, dude. It's more like a.
Dude, I was doing a 12 to 12 with that game, and I had a blast.
It's a 6 to 12.
It's not on my top 10 just because mine are a lot more sentimental, but. Man, it meant a lot to me, that game. Ruined my life, but it meant a lot to me, that game. All right. So now... Well, I skipped on
that should be on a shirt.
I skipped college to play that game, Devin. It's a factor. My life would have been different if I didn't play that game. Now's the point where we tell each other what parts we got wrong on our list. So I'm just going to quickly double-check, because I don't want to speak out of turn in case one's on one spot and it might be up or down. But looking at my list here and what you've guessed for my list, I feel like I can say without a doubt, you got 2 of them correct.
Okay, I mean,
Funnily
first try.
enough, the 2 you got are number 1 and number 10.
That balance is all things should be. Perfect.
I never shut up about Kingdom Hearts. That's my favorite game of all time. I played that game when I was 7. That game came out when I was 7, when you were 7 as well, Devin. My mom bought it for herself. I saw it on her shelf one day, and I'm like, oh, what's this? She said, oh, I got it for me, because the Disney characters. I opened that bad bitch up. I put it in PlayStation 2, and I fell in love. That was probably the first big game I ever beat, too. And the game was hard, and the music was amazing. And the characters are cool. I'm looking through the instruction manual. I'm pointing at my mom like, look, this guy, his name is Leon. He's from a game called Final Fantasy VIII. And then this guy, his name is Titus, and he's from Final Fantasy X. And I'm looking through. So that was my introduction to Final Fantasy, was Kingdom Hearts. So you got 2 of them right on my list. I hope I did better.
I don't know.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, actually, I can hold this up to the screen. Oh my god, hold on. I'm trying to see which ones are correct here.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to.
Oh, that's a lot. I have to my brain cannot look at lists. This was actually a bad stream idea. What the fuck? I literally am looking back and forth. All right, I just need to look at. I'm just triple checking because I don't want to get it wrong.
So I'm highlighting the ones that are correct and then moving the ones that are incorrect. He's thinking.
I don't think he got any right.
Really?
I'm triple checking for you. That's why I want to make sure I'm on that.
Fuck! I'm making it easier for us, by the way, and keeping them in the order that we did guess them in. Because
that's fair. Because I might forget. Yeah. Yeah, I think. That's why I think I'm having trouble because they're all wrong. And I'm like, there's got to be one that's right. No, they're all wrong.
Okay, hey.
So maybe 2's good. I thought maybe it was kind of weak.
Okay. Now we try again. Devin, you're up. Looking at my list.
And what sucks is it's not you're cold or warm on something, you know?
Yeah, I don't think we should do that. I think we should just say whether these are right or wrong.
I could do a crazy strat and not even think about it.
I'll flip them upside down.
That's what I was thinking. But no, I think Metal Gear is still top 5. I guessed it at 3rd before, so let's do 2nd. Right or no?
You guessed it at 2nd.
Okay, let's do 3rd then.
Okay.
I'm just gonna move it down 1, and then we'll flip that with Metroid Prime.
Okay.
Metroid Prime 2nd. I'm confident. I feel like I'm pretty confident on those. And maybe we move up Final Fantasy, because you were talking about that in relation to Kingdom Hearts. Maybe Final Fantasy. See, I'm playing the game even when we're not playing the game. Final Fantasy let's do that at 4. Oh, hold on, my SD card is here. My SD card, I think. Watch out. That's why he's barking. I wish they wouldn't knock, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Same thing with food delivery. I'm like, I said just leave it and walk away, so that I know you're here. I'll watch you on my app. Okay. Put 3 on the board. What are you thinking?
Sorry, I mean, let's do Legend of Zelda, because I think I made that one.
There's 2 of them
now. Oh, that's me. Let's go stick with Ocarina of Time. I feel like you've talked about that one more, but maybe I'm wrong. Also, I feel like a lot of other people talk about that one more.
I think so.
then we do Pokemon. I'm hoping I just maybe flip some of these wrong. You know what I mean? Like they're just. Let's do.
Can't believe I got none of yours right.
I know. We'll see what you get next time. Maybe you can use that to your advantage. So, Near Autonoma. Okay, let's go that one next. Is that better than the Souls games? I don't know. And then we'll do the Souls games. I'm sticking with Wind Waker being a false flag.
Okay. And do you think?
Just like January 6th was. Just kidding.
You haven't played a single Legend of Zelda game, but you love Souls games? What do you think Dark Souls is inspired by? Ocarina of Time. And then obviously Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and Majora's Mask. Before Wind Waker, after Ocarina of Time. Do you think you want them still in this order, or do you want to flip them?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you think
that
this is my list. Anything you want to change before I move on and guess yours?
Just lock it in.
Okay.
I'm at two, so I'm gonna try to just
Okay.
roll with
So
that. You're starting from scratch technically here, but like I said, maybe there's an advantage to not getting any of them.
I'm still confident that God of War is one of your best favorite games, is number one, so I'm gonna go with 2018 is number one. I can't put Counter-Strike as number two again. You know what? Fuck it. Dino Crisis is now number two. Maybe he's not memeing. Maybe he does care. I know that Rust
it is the best game of all time, so I mean, it should be number one.
Yeah. Man, I know that Rust. Do you like that game all that in your top 10? Counter-Strike has to be number 3. And then we're gonna go OG, War of God. Then Pokemon. Dead Space.
I saw you hovering. You're still thinking about it, huh?
You know, I'm gonna think Madden is now your fake one. Look at Russ is moving up. Russ is moving up.
I have played less Metroid and more Zelda.
Hey, I love Metroid.
Maybe if I played less.
Here's the thing. If I had the ability to turn my top 10 to a top 20, there would be 2 to 3 more Metroid games in there. In my heart, they're all top 10s, but I don't have the room. And Metroid Prime, man, I was scared of that game as a kid. I think it was scary.
Damn, I should have ranked it lower then. It's that scary.
Yeah, I know. Fuck it, Wii Ball, Alien, Weetar, Save the Godzilla. Okay, this is now what I'm going with. God of War the original, Dino Crisis, CS:GO, God of War remake, Dino Crisis 2, CS:GO, God of War the original, Pokemon Crystal, Sylvanas Crystal, Dead Space, Rust, Alien Isolation, Guitar Hero 3, The Legends of the Rock, and Godzilla Save Earth. Okay.
Well, before you go, I'm gonna go get my
Sure.
SD card.
Sure.
So we do need that.
He does need that. Man, guys, this is a lot harder than I thought. I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna be able to guess a couple of these. And then, at the top of the stream, we talked about surprises. When I saw his list, I'm like, got Guitar Hero on there? He's got, both God of Wars on there? I mean, yeah, I have 2 Zeldas, but he's got both? You put Rust on the list? We have a love-hate relationship with that game. I don't know. Our 11th is I keep calling it the Ringer, but it's a red herring. We like whatever our 11th kind of pick thing is. It's not literally number 11 on our list. It's a game we like, but it's not top 10 material in our hearts. So man, I'm hoping my pick for his red herring game is correct, because we've been talking about it recently, and maybe he's like, oh, Ethan's gonna think that I have this huge nostalgia for John Madden. I don't know. We'll see.
Rest in peace.
He's one of those sports guys, so maybe he is one.
Rest in peace.
All right, so Cool. Now it's time for us. Oh yeah, that was round 2. Whoops, I didn't mark that down.
This is the end of round 2, technically.
That is correct. That is correct.
Who knows?
Okay.
Maybe we both got it correct. What happens if we both get it correct? Who knows?
Well, I mean, you got more of my list correct earlier, so I guess you would win. As
I
your
guess that
tiebreaker.
makes sense. I don't know.
It's already been like that, so you know. Okay, so let me just take a look. I had time to look, and I didn't use it. Instead, I just talked a bunch.
All right, I gotta.
Okay, well, I got good news and bad news. The bad news, you didn't get any additionals.
Damn it.
But, you know, the good news is one more step further. You know, now you have... Now, I mean, I'm sure you already forgot your first order. So...
Yeah.
But, you know...
That's this game is really a test of memory.
I'm hoping if the more we whittle it down, there's less, like, options.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, it has to be
Yeah,
this.
we'll see. This is a trial run. Maybe next... Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe next we need to do top 5, because it might be gone forever.
See how this goes.
I'll say Pokemon Crystal you got correct.
Really?
Yep. Lock that one in. And you got Alien Isolation correct.
Really?
And that is it.
Okay.
So we have 2 different paths right now. I have the top and your least favorite of the 10, and then you have the just in between, which I don't know if that helps or hurts. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, man, I can make a top 4, I think, a little bit easier now.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Interesting. You don't have
I
God of
didn't
War
get
as your number 1 at all? Interesting. Okay. So
Not bad, not bad.
now it's your turn. We're on to round 3, everyone. Round
This time
3.
is personal.
All right, Devin. Lay it on me.
Round 3, last stand.
What do you think is my actual number 2?
Metroid Prime. And I did Metal Gear, so I know it's not one of those. I'm just maybe the strategy is to go down the list. And hope it doesn't take this long, but we'll go Final Fantasy 10 as the next.
Okay.
Maybe I need to rank them that way. Maybe that's the strategy. Just have a straight rank and just keep.
You just cycle through. I mean, yeah, that would work eventually, right? That would work eventually.
Just how many rounds will it take?
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm putting the Souls games. Did I put the Soul? I put the Souls games a little bit higher last time, but not that high. So I'm gonna do. I can't second guess. I'm just gonna stick with Demon Souls as next.
Yeah, number 3.
Yep.
All right.
And then we're gonna do Metroid Prime. Alright, I like this. Then Metal Gear. 'Cause I know it's not at least the top 3, so maybe we... And if it's lower, then... I mean, 5. Still top 5, though. Still top 5. I like this top 5 still.
Hey, these are good 5 Desert Island games.
This is where I'm not sure. I could be sleeping on Wind Waker this whole time. I don't. I'd rather be dealing with which one of the Zelda. I feel like you can't have 2 Zeldas when you have these other ones. I'm gonna do. Let's do Bloodborne next.
Okay.
We're separating the Souls games. We're going back. I don't know if that's where I put Bloodborne before. It kind of looks like it is. Oh well. What I could maybe do is just take a photo of it. Then I'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
But hey, this is a memory game. Let's do do Ocarina of Time now next.
I have NBA Street Volume 2, Brett. It's a damn good basketball game. That's coming from me. What did you say was next, Devon?
Ocarina of Time next. I think I've seen people play NBA Street, but I don't really know too much.
I want
about
us
it,
to
but
stream it, but we need to be in person for it. I don't want us to try
Well,
to do
NBA. I was gonna say NBA season starting on November.
You gotta
Let's
NBA
go
go
Wolves.
to the polls.
NBA or October. Does it start in
Okay.
October or November?
You got 2 left.
Um,
What do you think is...
Let's go near and then Pokemon. Maybe you just don't have Pokemon that high. That's I do.
Okay.
It'd be funny if we have it actually in the same spot. But, yeah, I think I'm just gonna lock that in.
I switched it up a little bit, but I still like that top 5, maybe even top 6 there. So I'm more worried about the bottom 5 for me, but the fact I got one of them I think is good. So good place to start. But I'm hoping if I can get like 3 in the top 6.
I think once
Then
we
then
kind
we're
of
going
start to get
places.
going more, then yeah, it makes it easier and easier. All right, so you said something that I found a little suspicious. You said you can't have 2 Zeldas. My man, you got 2 God of Wars in your list. One of them ain't on there, apparently. That's what I'm thinking. Or he's trying to juke me out. I don't know, man. I am going to throw the next obvious Hail Mary and say, you think Dino Crisis. So you think it's your favorite game. I think you
Wow,
have
so
it as
rude.
your favorite game. I guess maybe the meme
It is
of
the
liking
best
it that
game
much
all time.
is something you actually believe and aren't just being like, yeah, I like this game. It's fun to say it's my favorite. Like a Rouge Bet situation. I don't know. I have yet to have a God of War at number 2. So I guess God of War, the original, is now number 2. As for number 3, I had Counter-Strike as number 3 before. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, no, I had Counter-Strike as number 3 before. Maybe... I don't know, man. Maybe Dead Space is number 3. Dead Space. I'm trying to put in my head, my brain into ye old high school Devon, and I can see that being the case. Why don't we then put Counter-Strike at that one there, at number 4. Excuse me. But then, man, God of War 2018 would be that low? It doesn't feel right to me. Let me say that again. That doesn't feel right to me.
It looks.
Camera there. I didn't really get much of a read off of that. Okay.
Wow, you got them all right.
Yeah. And NFL 09, I'll put at 7, I guess. I'm going to put Godzilla last this time. And put... Oh man, did I have Guitar Hero at number 9 last time too? Oh well.
I don't remember, honestly.
You don't even say.
I don't remember.
Oh.
So I couldn't even. I would honestly tell you if it was, just for the
You know what?
fairness.
I'm changing this. I'm putting Madden at number 9. The rated Guitar Hero. Okay. I think to me, I think that feels right.
Feels better.
Yeah, okay. Now it's time to tell each other on round 3 which ones we got wrong. Looking over your guesses and looking over the ones that you have for me.
This is hard, man. You should do this. Just saying.
You got none of them right again.
That's no fucking shot.
Sorry.
This might take forever, dude.
Hey, we're gonna go until we get it done, till someone wins.
It
Hey,
is week
I wrote in
4.
the description. These boys probably don't know each other as much as they thought, or whatever I wrote. I guess it's coming more and more true. All right.
I know this is actually a testament to our friendship. Maybe we're exposing ourselves now. I'm just triple
Well, a
checking.
lot of our games don't overlap, too. You know what I mean? If you had that more of
Yeah.
a shared.
Which I guess is cool, too, though. Certainly.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you didn't get any right either.
Really? Okay.
Bro, I'm telling you, Blood. Okay, I'll put it up higher. I'll put it second. Jeez.
Bloodborne is a good game.
It is, but I don't think it's in your top 3, maybe top 5.
Damn. Well, I know what I'm going to put for your number 1, but it's your turn to guess for my list already. So. Now remember, this is the order you had them in already
Yes.
for 2 through 9. So.
Yes, Final Fantasy X is kind of surprising. I feel like I put that almost everywhere in the top 5. Just for the meme for Rob here, for not, we're gonna put Bloodborne at second.
Okay.
I don't think it's right, but my gut has only been right once, and it was 20 minutes ago. So let's go Bloodborne. We've done Metal Gear.
What is the
Metal Gear, I
music?
think
It's
top
from.
3.
I think this one is from Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
He mentioned earlier Legend of Zelda inspired the Souls games. Maybe he thinks that way about the ranking. So maybe he's going to do Ocarina of Time as number 3.
Okay.
And then,
Oh, by the way,
I don't
another
think-
surprise that I had for myself. Didn't put a Tekken game in the top 10.
I just realized there's not fighting games here. Maybe they're overrated, is what Ethan's saying.
Tekken Tag, the original, one of my favorite games, but I need to play it more in order to really feel like
It's up there.
I need to dissect it more, because it was a moment in time for me as a kid.
Let's do Metal Gear as 4th. I think I've done all of it but 4th in the top 5, and I feel like it's got to be in the top 5. I think.
Okay.
My memory's not getting too crazy here.
I will
Then
say
we'll do-
this: I've said Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of the top 5 best video games of all time. And I've
I
said it's the
know.
best PlayStation 2 game of all time. Does that mean that's how I put it on my list? That doesn't necessarily equate to that, but I have spoken highly of it.
Just like you've spoken highly of Final Fantasy X, which is the next one on the list. I'm just gonna keep knocking that one down. That's the only one I've been knocking down. I just got that one will be right eventually. Then let's do Metroid Prime. I'm swapping that now. Oh, XL. Hello.
C and X are really close to each other.
They are. Let's do Demon Souls. Demons.
It's possessive.
It's one demon. Just one demon.
One demon and his multiple souls. Yep.
But these would be switched then because they've already been 7. No, this is 8 and 9, right? Or no, they would be 8 and 9. That'd be the same order I did before. So I guess I have to switch those. So let's do Pokemon.
You don't have to switch them. You can choose to put Wind Waker somewhere on the list.
Fine, let's put Wind Waker at the next one.
I don't want to force you to choose something.
Nope.
You go with what you're saying.
You blew your cover right there. Let's
Okay.
put it as the next one.
Sure.
Then let's do Nier. Maybe Pokemon is a false flag operation. The whole time he knew we were gonna do this stream, and he set up the whole Nuzlocke run from the very beginning just so he can convince me it's in his top 10.
Right.
The Pokemon franchise is this high. I'm locking that in. I don't love it, but like I said, my gut has been wrong for a while now.
Okay.
So let's see what happens out of that one.
All right. I'm gonna get this out of the way. You stupid, sweaty son of a bitch. You like Counter-Strike that much. It's your number 1. Pathetic. But
Maybe.
sure. I love being a hater. I don't really hate that game that much. I hate the culture. Okay, I guess I had the original God of War as your number 2. I guess God of War 2018 has got to be your number 2. If it's not, I mean, I also had both these games as your number 3. So if a God of War isn't your top 3, I'm taking your card away. You know what I mean? I feel like
The
you talk
gamer
about
card?
it as much as I talk about Kingdom Hearts, and you don't even have it in your top 3.
You take my gamer card away.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't go to GameStop no more.
I had Dead Space as your number 3 before, and that was wrong. Maybe it's fucking Godzilla? Fuck.
I'll say there was one game, speaking of Godzilla, I'm kind of mad I didn't put on my list, but I was like, and it was the Peter Jackson's King Kong, the movie, the game, because that game is pretty good, actually. We should play through that one of these days.
Okay.
It's a good...
I heard it's an easy Xbox 360 achievement list. I don't think it had PlayStation trophies at the time. Might be alphabetical order. We initially had them listed in alphabetical order so that there was no bias.
But I did send it to him in a random order, to be fair.
Yeah, and I assumed that was the case as well. I wasn't going to try to dissect that.
Or was it? Now Ethan can check his messages and see what
Dino Crisis is number... If that's your 11, I'm going to be mad. I feel like I've been hung up to dry if that's the case.
It's the best game of all time. Why would I put it at 11? Come on.
God of War Original is number 6. I really don't think you like these games as that much. There's no way you like Guitar Hero 3 more than a God of War. Either of them. For your sake, you better not. Change your list now if that's the case. I won't judge you if you cheat.
I'm just going to change all of them so I'm always right and you're always wrong.
Oh, man. I'm going to say... I'm going to have Guitar Hero 3 as your red herring now. Okay. Okay, so I'm locking that in. I'm locking that in. Locking that in. Maybe it's just because I never really played those. I played Band Hero on the Wii, and that was it.
It's either Rock Band or Guitar Hero. That was all the rage.
Well,
for like
Band
2
Hero
years.
was Guitar Hero 4 or 5. That was just, now we have drums and the microphone.
That was the response to Rock Band, because Rock Band's like, yeah, you like guitar? We got all of the instruments.
Well, Rock Band was made by the creators of Guitar Hero. They left. They made... No, so... Give Rock Band, the original Rock Band, a little bit more credit. All right, looking over your new suggested list for me, double checking my 2 through 9 here to see.
This is what sucks for me is I have to like, I have like the 2 random ones in the middle. It's like my brain still can't like differentiate the list.
Okay, the good news is you didn't get them all wrong. You got one of them correct.
Hey, yay, that's one more.
You got Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater correct. But that's it. Oh wait, that was round 4.
It's okay.
I keep forgetting that. We're going to start round 5 in a second.
Might as well switch it to round 5 because I'll say you didn't get all of them correct.
Fair.
But I'll say this: you finally beat your beast of getting some in the top 3. You got the first one correct. It is Counter-Strike. My sweaty game,
wow.
My cruel mistress.
I respect you less now.
That's fine. And then you did get God of War 2018 correct as number 2. And then triple checking here. I think the next you did get one more right. I'm pretty sure. You got Dead Space correct. You got the...
Wow, you like Alien Isolation more than Dead Space?
Because I was thinking about it also after seeing the new Alien.
Man, I love CSGO. Hey, you can like it. I don't hate the player, I hate the game.
That's
literally.
Fair. That's fair. But no, I was thinking about it, and my only issue with Alien Isolation was the ending was a little abrasive to me, but it was also because I was streaming it, once every week or whatever. And I'm really intrigued of playing it again after watching the new Alien.
They need to do like a remaster. That was a 2014. That was an early.
But
PS4
the game already looks gorgeous to this day. It's probably one of the prettiest games I've played.
60 easy. I mean, granted, you can do that on a PC now easily, but like.
But I was thinking, I might maybe get it sometime this year on PlayStation, just so I can play it on there because I've only played on
Some
PC.
trophies. You know, I'm 8
Also, just to see
trophies
how it
away
plays
from
on
getting my
PS5.
10,000th trophy. I'm 8 away from getting 10,000. Yeah.
It's 1 trophy per day that
Okay.
he's lived.
Well,
Yep.
so far I'm in the lead.
Yeah, you come back after full early misses. I'm scared now because, I mean, at least
I
I
got
got
half of them.
I was
half
right in the
of
middle
them.
gear, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 is awesome. It's a perfect video game. Okay. You got to guess now more. You managed to
I gotta-
overcome your beast on where freaking Metal Gear Solid 3 was, so...
Final Fantasy is the other one, because what the fuck? I keep knocking that one down more and more. It just has not been there. Have I guessed Zelda at 2nd overall? I don't think so. Let's do that one.
Which one?
Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Knock that one at the top. Fuck, let's do Nier. Maybe Nier is like, I mean, I know you love that, but maybe it's secretly a top 5.
Okay.
I remember impacting you when you played it, but it's been quite a minute. So
I did buy you the game when you got your PS4.
yeah, it's true. It's
because
true.
How much I liked it.
And then so have I done Final Fantasy? I'm trying to make sure I had the number down. I don't think I've done Final Fantasy at 5 then, or have I? It's been 5 rounds and I've moved it down 1 every time, so I think 5 makes sense.
Okay.
I guess. I'm gonna go back for Demon Souls being higher. I'm gonna go that for 6th.
Okay.
Then Bloodborne.
Okay.
I think I've guessed it here before, but whatever.
You definitely love to group them together. I know that. They're magnetic.
Let's then now do Metroid.
Now, which of these two do you think is number 9?
Let's go Wind Waker.
Did you like Sly Cooper? I never played that back in the day. I played the HD version a little bit, but I didn't really play too much of it. So I like the idea, but I don't have a horse in that race. I was more of a Jack and Daxter guy, and then later became also a Ratchet
Jack and
Clank
Daxter
guy.
I was thinking about putting on the list too, but I'm like, it's been so long since
I
I
actually
played
started
it.
playing that first one again.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember I'll always have that opening like sound music track
That
from the very first like. I'll have that
Awesome
beat
video.
forever in my head.
Yeah. They need to do a remake of that. Just a graphical remake, top to bottom. God, Naughty Dog, get on it. You could do so much better. Making Last of Us is sad video games. Make a happy video game. All right.
I'll say thank God we did 11 because now this is where the 11 I think really comes into place because that's where this could. It looks like you could just knock this out right now, which is a good possibility you can. But I think that 11th one could completely fuck that all up.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go out of the left field here. Dino Crisis 2, I feel like I put 1 through 3 so far, maybe 4? I don't know. Do you like Rust that much? You like CSGO that much? But all you ever did was complain. We played
Not
Rust.
true.
All you ever did was
Not-
complain. I hate that we're doing this. Why do I have to
I-
do this?
I
Why am I
never
playing
said
this? Can I go to sleep now? David, you ruined everything.
It's true.
But then, I don't know, this could be some weird nostalgic up later with my dad, and we were crying, and Madden means so much to me. I love football. This was the game that made me fall in love with men as a concept. I don't know. It's not God of War original.
Did you say
as number
men
3.
as a concept?
I did. Wait, did I have Godzilla as your number 2? It's fun. No, I had it as your number 3. That is your number 3. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put fucking Rust at number 3. Don't let me down.
You're the radioactive radon or whatever, the Geiger counter. Geiger counter? Let him cook here, folks.
I think you're fucking memeing. I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong there. I know I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong, but like, I'm right. I know I'm wrong.
One of the
but
most
I'm right.
influential games of all time, and you're not even putting in the top 10. That's
Like
crazy.
top 10 Sonic characters. Ooh, top 10 Sonic characters. We do that for the next one.
Why? It'll just be Rouge. I don't have any more.
Just Rouge is one merged thing.
Rouge the Bat, Rouge the Bat, Rouge the Bat, Rouge the Bat in this game, Rouge the Bat in this game. It's like what's separate. What order though?
Okay, time for me to tell you what ones that you got correct on my list. You got more than one correct. I'm gonna go top to bottom. Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is number 2. Very important game for me. That was my Nintendo
Finally,
64
okay,
game.
I'm getting this top 5 down.
I really connected with that world, with that character. He was a 10-year-old boy before I was 10. I looked up to him, then became a 17-year-old man. I thought that was a man at the time. He's taller.
He can vote, maybe.
Yeah. Just a beautiful game. The original Nier is an inspiration, or is inspired by Ocarina of Time's structure. Boy travels to the far corners of the earth to collect MacGuffins. In gathering them at a place, ends up having the villain get what he wants. We do a time skip. We travel the four corners of the earth after time has passed and things are shittier. He saves the girl at the end. That's literally Nier, just does the Ocarina of Time formula. Nier Automata is my number 3 as well.
Let's go. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
We got top 4. This is great. We're getting there.
Yep. I wouldn't just say top 4 because Final Fantasy is not number 5. But Demon Souls is my number 6.
Oh, big. This is big. It's a big round for me right here. This is going to be interesting.
Yep. And Bloodborne is not number 7. But Metroid Prime is number 8.
No way. Okay, I lucked out here.
And
I'll take it.
Wind Waker is not number 9. So
I have 4 though. Oh boy, 4 and 5. Okay.
you got 3 spaces left. You got to fill in the blues. But yes, now it's at the point now where I feel like, I'll just move these 3 down so it's next. Oops, shit. No, wait, what? Oh. All right, let me have it.
What a round. You didn't get any.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Huge round for me. It makes it even better is that you didn't get any. Oh man. I triple checked too. I was like making sure.
I mean, you only have 2 over on me. It's a lot.
But
still.
I was down though. I was down big
Yeah.
though. You had a big. This is gonna come down, I think, to maybe these next 2 rounds. I feel like one of us is gonna get.
Oops, I think we're on round 7 now. Whatever. I lost track.
They should make a short key just for rounds, so you can just press that.
Okay, Devin. You got number 5, 7, and 9 left to guess for my list. What do you think they are?
Final Fantasy keeps getting knocked down, so I'm gonna stick to my list. I'm gonna go Bloodborne next.
Okay,
I don't know if I
Bloodborne
did
at
that
number
one.
5. Okay.
I'm going with not here, He's number 1, man. I'm telling you.
I never explained.
No.
Yeah, Nier Automata did really mean a whole lot to me. I think it's the best story in video games. Period. Yeah, very smart game.
Very intelligent.
Demon Souls was my first Souls game. I did play the original PS3 and did not understand it. David likes to pretend I was always a hater. I was just misunderstood. And I was like, these people just like hard games. They don't actually know what they like. But then I came around, played the remake, and then all of that. Metroid Prime. Enough said.
Amazon
I got
Prime.
it with my GameCube. It was my first T-rated game. I was scared because that was a game you had save rooms. And so you're exploring uncharted territory you haven't been to yet. And I'm used in like Ocarina of Time, and even Kingdom Hearts to a degree. I'm replaying familiar areas as a kid. I'm just running through them. I'm living in the space. The kids do that with games even still to this day. They live in the spaces. It's very magical. And I was doing that to a bit with Metroid Prime, but when I would explore out into other areas, I would get scared because, like, at any point I turned a corner and I could get killed. And I don't know when I saved last. There's that fear creeping in there. It's all right. I stalled for you to allow you to think a little bit more.
Yeah, because I'm gonna do Final Fantasy. I'm just gonna keep doing my strat Final Fantasy. I'm just gonna keep knocking that one down.
Okay.
Until it's not there anymore, or it is locked in. Let's do Zelda. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
No, I did that one last before, so it's at the bottom. So let's do Pokemon.
Okay. All right.
Maybe going back to my original gut feeling that Wind Waker's fake. Fake news.
Big news. Okay. God. I don't know anymore. I really don't know. I don't even know what I've done as number 3. I know I've done God of War the original as number 3.
I don't think you have, by the way. I'll say that. Just for fairness. I think you had them switched though.
And then I did them in the reverse. That was my first. Was God of War original was number 1 in 2018. Was
yeah, Counter-Strike in there.
Really? Well then, fuck.
Yeah.
I think you're telling me. That's now number 3.
I'm just being fair so that you're not
sure.
later on if it is correct.
Maybe I got confused. God, did I have Dino Crisis in number 4? I thought I did. Oh man, I
don't remember now at this point.
Well, don't tell me. Maybe Guitar Hero at number 6? Did I have it at 6 before? I'm asking you.
No, Orlando. He says he doesn't remember.
Pay attention, cardboard second. Bloom. Then Godzilla at number 7. And then Rust at 10? Did I have Rust at 10 before? I know I had Rust as like your no way that's
I
your
feel like
game.
you have, but I do not remember.
Don't tell me. Because now I'm thinking, why would you say that? Because if it was true at one point, it wouldn't be that. So now I'm doing that. Okay.
I'm just trying to be fair.
I know. You allowed me to get lost. Hey, don't think that you won just because you're in the lead and you're trying to give me a gimme, all right?
I think I got the next 2, right? That's what I think.
Okay. Now, it's time for us, I'm putting this counter in ahead of time, time for us to tell each other what ones we got wrong. So you said Bloodborne was my number 5. See, now it's easier for me to check my list. You said Final Fantasy X was my number 7. You said Pokemon Gold and Silver version was my number 9. Devon, none of those are correct.
Damn it.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Give me good news. I gave
Good
you bad news,
news?
but give me good news.
You got number 3 right. It is God of War, and you did
Yeah.
flip them.
Wow, I would have done that earlier, but I
second
really
round.
thought I literally had the head number 3.
You did God of War, the original, as number 1. Then you did Counter-Strike. Then you did 2018 at one point, and that's why I had to triple check because like I kept seeing the same words, and I was just kind of my brain was trying to hurt. Then you flipped Counter-Strike into 3rd, and then you just kept flipping them around. So it was just like a
I got
you got really close a couple times. And then you did get Guitar Hero correct.
Nice.
That game
Big win
is
for
one of
me.
the reasons
You're
I
alive
was like,
today.
I'm alive today. No, I mean like without Guitar Hero, I still think I would have gone into like getting really into like metal music and rock music because of my upbringing.
I didn't
but it
even
was
think
the
about that
first.
angle. Yeah, I guess.
But
that
it was
makes
the
sense.
first game that like made me realize like, oh, I really like Iron Maiden and Metallica, and like I loved playing those songs. And like I've heard some of them before, but like it wasn't until like I played them, felt like I was playing them, that like I really dug that, and it put me down that rabbit hole to that I'm still in today. Of, you know, and I wish sometimes I wish there was newer ones or whatever, because I'm sure there'd be some folks out there maybe could find a similar journey. But yeah, Guitar Hero 3 is just more from a appreciation point of just giving me that access into like Iron Maiden and so on and so forth. So, because without that, I don't know. I mean, I think I would have been kind of just general on music, but or maybe would have got there in a different way, but maybe a later way. But yeah, Guitar Hero 3 is very impactful on me for that reason. And Godzilla is correct. That's number 7. So it gets real interesting now.
Nice.
Yeah, Godzilla
Huge.
Save the Earth. I played a lot of many hours in that game. I unlocked all the characters, did all the story modes with each character. Really, really fun. Because it had the melee stuff in it, but it had a little bit extra stuff. Had double the characters in it. But yeah, had a cool story and whatnot, for me as a kid at least. Yeah, just really, really fun, because it was just a way to do all my fantasy in my head when I was a kid of monsters I always wanted to fight that weren't in the movies or whatever together. So real
Okay.
cool in that regard. And that is it. So it's really interesting. No, you've punched right back, but it is now a ticking time bomb. I feel like with the.
I gotta get
with
number
this.
4, number 10. Okay. Okay. Your
I
turn.
think your odds are great, very great right now, because now it's a matter of just remembering what order you put things in.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Okay. Go
I'm
for
mad
it.
at Final Fantasy, man. Let's do Wind Waker next. I don't think I've done it this high, so let's do that one next.
Okay.
Let's do Final Fantasy. I mean, I keep going. Oh no, I did do that again. I would have made that the second one. Yeah. So let's make it Pokemon then.
Okay.
Final Fantasy is there? It's a possibility. He's now a Final Fantasy hater. Fuck it, let's do Bloodborne next.
Okay.
And I'll remember where this one is. It's one of the last two potentially. So
Okay. Okay.
if it's not the one missing.
All right.
I'll know now at this point which ones aren't the 11th.
Yeah, you've gotten most of this combination. You've put them in most places.
Yeah, I feel like Final Fantasy is the only one that I haven't done as 11th, so I think it's Final Fantasy. So
Okay.
now I just did the math in my head.
Okay.
We'll see. Moment of truth. You
All
could
right.
lock it in right here, Ethan. This is pretty high odds, I feel like.
I had Dino Crisis as your number 4 before. That wasn't it. I did have it as your number 11. I think it's number 10. But I swear I've done that before. It can't be done on a cell multiple ranges. What are you talking about? And then I have Rust as number 4. I actually don't know. I think I did. Maybe that was number 5. Maybe that was number 3. Did I have... Don't answer this. Did I have Rust at number 4? I think I'm gonna do a gamble here. I'm gonna put Madden John FLN 90, the 8002 3PS game at number 4. Do I want to do that?
That's the Sunday Night Football.
I'm gonna take that
song,
as
but-
confirmation that I picked right. Okay.
Alright.
And I know I've had Rust at number 10 before, so it's not that. So it's really like... It's really between these two at number 4. Okay. I'm locking that in.
You're locking it in.
I'm
Oh,
locking and pop locking and getting okay. Devin,
All right.
time to evaluate. He even knows the song. That's right. It meant a lot to him.
Sunday Night Football, to be fair, it's not. Fortunately, they never had those songs, I believe, in any of the games, which is kind of shitty when you think about it. But
Devin, you got 2 correct. You got the Wind Waker.
One away.
Correct. And you got Pokemon correct.
Bloodborne, you son of a bitch. I trusted you.
Now, if I got your list correct, I win.
Correct.
But if I don't, I don't know. So, be the deeds.
Let's see. Ethan, you did it. You got it correct.
Yeah!
Wow, what a hey,
Nice.
what hey, you can't draw it up any better for entertainment value here, folks. We got it down to the line. I was one away from potentially winning first, and then you could have won too. I thought maybe for a second, I'm like, man, what happens if we both win? No, I guess it's a tie.
Yeah, Bloodborne's a good game. It's just not in my top 10. Not in my top 10. It's like both the Metal Gear, the Zelda, the Metroid situation, or I'd put them all in a top 10 if I had the room, but I don't. I allowed 2 Zelda games in my top 10 because they meant different things to me at different points in my life. Although, to be honest, that was like a couple years apart. But like when you're a child, that's huge, right?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy X.
I
know it feels like it should be higher.
It's gonna haunt me.
I know other people would be like, "Man, Ethan talks about Final Fantasy VII a lot. Why isn't that in the top 10 at all?" I played 10 first.
Yeah.
I played 10 first. That was my first one. Played Kingdom Hearts and I played Final Fantasy X. But yeah,
Sonic Adventure 2 is better than Bloodborne. That's crazy.
I love it more. I love it more than Bloodborne. And yeah, like you having Rust not in your top 10 feels right.
Yeah, I wrote it down
fair.
as the next though, like as 11th, like as I was going in my head of like games that I'll say Rust from an hour standpoint is the second most game I've played on Steam.
Right.
And you were getting close, like really early on. You were kind of doing a good job, and then you went away from it for a little bit, but you came back to it. Of like, yeah, it does feel like you need to do a 9-to-5 job to like really get.
But then that's what makes it
everything out of the
special and unique. You know what I mean? Like,
I think there's a way to do it in a quicker pace. I have played other like survival games like Raft, which I think has a good. That's with me and not played Rob in here, and I had a lot of fun with that because it had that sense of discovery that I like from those kind of. I like exploring and like seeing things and finding things and being like, you know, and I also like a base that can be expanded and changed over time, which Rust does have. But their issue with Rust is it has too much.
It's a PvP game at its heart that has a survival element as like the cruft around it. And that's what I love it for, because I like going in and being like, but it's not.
I just think there's so much in it that you can do, but it takes a lot of time to get there. I know there's some servers that maybe next time we play it that we can do, like just give you all the blueprints right away, which I think would expedite some things.
There are ones that make it so when you die, you only lose half your stuff, because the other half goes to like a safe zone. Stuff like that. Yeah, there are safe.
And I don't mind the PvP, but it really is tough when it feels like most people are better than you.
Sure.
So it's like. Granted, the last time we played it, I did a lot better than I've done.
When we
in the past,
initially
maybe.
played, none of us could hit anything because we were all running at like 10 frames a second or whatever. I'll
20
never
max,
forget that
yeah.
my shitty laptop was running it better than my Alienware desktop computer.
My
The
MacBook
gamer's
Pro
PC.
was like 25 FPS, I think was at like best,
Insane.
and you guys were like mind blown by that.
Yeah,
just like
but the game just wasn't optimized. It was an early alpha, so like obviously.
But I do have a lot of great memories with it, and I think that's
Same.
why I would honestly put it in like top 15, just because I'll never forget our base we built at the top of the original vanilla Rust Island there at the top of what we called Eden, and it was
Professor
20
Rich.
by 40, whatever, how crazy
It was a
dimensions
weird
was.
shape because it was like I put down foundations everywhere we could, and that's just what we had. Yeah, and it was a maze.
And then we just kept we built up like 14 floors on this thing. Like even if someone had C4, like it was more of just like you'll never get.
And we
anywhere.
hid our C4, our valuables, in like invisible little pouches in the walls, like as we were building them. Yeah, I love it.
But
I
yeah,
had
so like it was
Sorry.
tough. I did think about putting it in a top 10, but I was just like, I do have more gripes with it compared to these other things that, like, yeah, Dino Crisis 2 I meme a lot about, but it was the first game outside of maybe the first Resident Evil that like scared me, but I did watch my dad play through in its entirety, and then I eventually played through it, and that was one of the first games that like I considered an adult game that I played through and beat as a kid. And granted, I didn't play it how it's probably more meant to be played, like you did for your stream a while back, where it was much more arcadey. I always kind of played it as, you know, Resident Evil more style, where you're taking it slow and, you know, running when you have to.
The first game was like that for sure.
Right.
Second game.
But I have so much nostalgia for it, and it will always be a game that I will, even if it is a little bit of a meme, sometimes I do like really appreciate, because it did just teach me that you can have that kind of an experience with the game. And yeah, Dead Space, same thing, was another game when more older now, but like was really scary and like actually really scared me and played through. And then the remake's pretty good. Like I remember some areas, some places are new from what it looks like. And it still hits, it's just more of a time thing, and there's a little bit of like, I have played this before, so it's not as hype, but at the time, yeah, I played it on my brother's small, like, you know, TV, and it just added to that element. And I remember my mom yelling at me for stop yelling, because I was just going like, oh my god, when like a necromorph popped from the ceiling. Alien Isolation, yeah, is just like, I really loved playing it. I just had more of a pacing issue, but I think it was more on me. That's why I'm interested in replaying it again at just to see a different playthrough. And I also want to see how the alien changes over time, because I know it changes for every person's playthrough, so it does adapt to how you play, which is cool. And it did really scare me more than Dead Space did, and that's why I put it up just a little bit higher, because I did play it more recent-ish. And now playing the Dead Space remake, I'm like, yeah, this is scary at moments, but I'm not like heart pounding. Like Alien Isolation, there's a certain point in that game where it doesn't let you go, and even when I'm saving, I'm scared. Like that means you did a good job. Where I'm like, I'm gonna die while I'm saving. Like the alien's gonna fucking dome me as soon as I unsave here. But was there any other ones you added? And yeah, NFL 09. You got correct here. Another game that I put probably like 400 hours in. It's a game that I had for a while because we couldn't afford the other Maddens, and we got it, and we're playing it hopefully next Wednesday. To start off the NFL
on the good old PlayStation 3.
Yeah, but I played, the GM mode where you play as a GM managing a team. I've played as the coach mode on that. I think that was on that one. I did the make your own player where you get drafted, and like I just had so many like fun experiences with it, and it did help me learn how football works, because I started to watch it around 2007. Like I always watched it growing up, but like I didn't really start paying attention until 2007, 2008. And then having this game kind of just taught me more of like, oh, this is why they do this. This is why they do plays like this. Like those little details made me appreciate the game more. So, and then yeah, God of War, the original, started it all. It's my favorite franchise, God of War, for sure. I almost put Ragnarok on this list, but I feel like I didn't want to put 3 God of Wars on here. Ragnarok just felt like a good continuation of the 2018 one, but I think 2018 was just so magical in the sense like, wow, my favorite franchise came back, won a game of the year, and has been respected. Not that it wasn't necessarily disrespected before, but like, and it respected another level of storytelling with Kratos, the character. Taught me a lot about, I feel like how parents look at kids growing up, even more so in Ragnarok, but now that I'm older too. But yeah, and it also just like blew my mind that I'm like, even when I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh, I was hesitant too. I was like,
I know you were like, oh, I don't know if this is what I want.
But then I kept watching the trailers. That was the game
that taught you that you should pay child support. So Devon started writing those checks.
Right. And now my son loves me again. So it's been good.
You're not in his life. You just pay his mom.
Yeah.
You know,
But she says he misses me, but she won't let me see him. So.
she won't let me see. Yeah. For me, looking for lists, Wind Waker. That was my first GameCube game. I got Metroid Prime shortly after, but we got that. So I got my GameCube. I earned my GameCube because my mom told me if you eat this pepper from the box, you know, every time you get Papa John's, they would throw a couple peppers in the corner of the pizza box. If you eat this, I'll buy you a Nintendo GameCube. And I hated that. I hated that pepper.
I don't even want a Nintendo GameCube probably at that point. I probably still would have did it.
I hated that pepper, but I did it immediately. Turns out, it was just because my grades were good. And they probably had some money to do it. And then, yeah, I got Wind Waker. And then it was like that next day, I think I also had to get my tonsils removed or something, tubes in my ear. We're at my grandparents, and I brought the GameCube, and you know, this was in the back. This was before streaming and all that. Grandparents said or no, I think it was my mom. Someone said, oh, "Wait, can that play DVDs?" Because we had the PS2 already. That could play DVDs. I remember taking the disc and trying to just clanks on the top of the system because they took small discs, so there really wasn't room for a DVD disc, you know, a full-size disc to fit on.
You tried it anyways. Yeah.
Beautiful game, a wonderful game. It looks fantastic still this day. The HD version on the Wii U changes how colors are presented, but it's still the same game nonetheless. Gorgeous. It's weirdly one of those games where, as an adult, I'm like, oh, there was a story here that isn't verbatimly told that I love so much. You have the character of Ganondorf, the villain. He is the same Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time. Wind Waker is a far-flung future sequel where at the end of Ocarina of Time, Zelda and Link seal Ganondorf away in the sacred realm, this otherworldly place. And Wind Waker opens up with this hand-drawn tapestry type of thing that pans, telling the story of Ocarina of Time. And oh yep, in the Hero of Time, he left, his job was done. That's what they refer to him in Legends, Link from Ocarina of Time. But then the evil king broke free. And everyone prayed for, the hero to return, but he never did because he got sent back to his own time. He doesn't exist in their time anymore, but they don't know that. They just know some guy came. They didn't realize that when he went back in time, he was able to prevent things from happening, so time split. But they don't know
like LeBron when he left Cleveland.
Exactly. And so, so it's the same. So, Ganon comes back, so they pray to the gods instead. And the gods answer, and they say, go to the mountaintops. We're flooding this planet. And so Wind Waker takes place on an ocean with dotted islands around it. And what I love so much now in hindsight looking at the story is whenever they show Ganondorf in this game, he's just stoically sad. He's always staring off in the distance. He's not really interested in what's going on. And his whole goal is he wants to Triforce because it lets you grant a wish. He's not doing. He could take over this world easily. He's got the armies to do it. It doesn't matter to him because this isn't his world. He literally wants to go back in time to rule the world that once was. That's all. His entire existence isn't the same anymore. Why the hell does he care? And that actually speaks to me too, because then you have your talking boat, little tiny sailboat. It's actually the spirit of the old king of Hyrule possessing that boat, and he's also from that same time, but he chooses this world is for the children, and so he's the one that makes the wish at the end to flood the rest of Hyrule Castle, which is magically in a bubble underwater that Ganondorf was trying to get to. So I love that in hindsight so much, but as a kid, that game was awesome to me. It was like Ocarina of Time, but I was a little bit older. I actually beat that game as a kid. I went back to beat Ocarina of Time on the Wii Virtual Console. I got close as a kid, but that game got scary. The Shadow Temple was too scary for me, so I never beat that as a kid. Let's see. Demon Souls. I think I talked about that, but yeah, it's just that was my first Souls game. So all my firsts are in there. When it clicked for me, it was my first Souls Platinum as well. I loved that a lot. Pokemon Gold and Silver. It was my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Gold. I loved it a lot. I remember picking Chikorita, and then it asks you what's Chikorita's nickname. I couldn't read very well, but I read that, and I thought it was quizzing me. So I was like, oh no, what is his nickname? So I asked my mom, what's Chikorita's nickname? She's like, I don't know. And then I remember my very first Pokemon was a Chikorita named A.
Yeah, I had a Pikachu from Yellow version, which is my first one. Like that was just random letters nonsense, word salad, letter
Yeah,
salad.
you would have been even younger, I think, too. So, like, you definitely didn't read. I could read maybe a little. So I'm playing through this. I think I restarted it a couple times. I didn't understand what you need to save. What does that even mean? Because my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Stadium for the Nintendo 64. But anyway, playing through it, and I remember sneaking my Game Boy Color on the bus to kindergarten. Only time I ever did that. And I'm playing it, and I'm in the PC, right? And it's a confusing thing. It's not like, modern where like you can just move Pokemon around. You needed to change boxes, which caused the game to save. That's how you can duplicate Pokemon, by the way, if you have to turn the game off right at the right time during that saving process, and it's in both boxes at once. But there's a chance you could delete it that way. So anyway, there was this weird word. I didn't know what it meant. So I click it, and then I click a Pokemon, or maybe I clicked a Pokemon, click the word. And then I do it again, then I do it again. Then like I had this Bellsprout, and it wouldn't let me do it. I didn't know what it was saying. I couldn't read it very well, but it said something, and it just wouldn't let me do it. So I turned to the kid who was like in 3rd grade next to me, and I say, I didn't show him the Game Boy. I didn't like give him any context. I just asked him, what's the R word?
Oh my god.
And he just ignored me or looked at me. I don't even know if he knew like the actual slur of the R word, but like it was
Probably
released.
not,
I was
but...
releasing all my Pokemon, and it wouldn't let me release my last Pokemon because you need a Pokemon. Not that I knew what that said. But anyway, I get nostalgic as hell for that game. Literally, whenever I smell...
I know this story, yeah.
Whenever I smell dirty cigarettes, I think of Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Very specifically, the Goldenrod Underground, for whatever reason. Because my mom used to smoke, and I would sit on the porch with her at my grandparents' house, and I would play that game on the porch. And so, like, that smell is tied in my brain with the Game Boy Color's weird color selection choice. The colors on the Game Boy Color are strange. Like, yellow is a weird color that they pick. The blues that they pick are weird. Like, it's a strange color palette. But that color palette and the idea of Johto, to me, is tied with cigarettes. In a positive way. Let's see. And then Final Fantasy X, that was my first Final Fantasy. Weirdly enough, both Wind Waker, Kingdom Hearts, and Final Fantasy X all have this ocean theme to them. Which is interesting.
You like the ocean? I think you need to move to...
I hate the ocean. Like, just funny.
You need to move to like the Caribbean somewhere. Go to Puerto Rico or something.
Final Fantasy X, when I was playing that, I was young. And that was the first game where I realized that games have stories in the point where they're trying to say something. But in my young kind of kiddish mind, I took a very baseline statement idea and was like, this is what the story is. And only as an adult, I'm like, oh, it's much more complex than that. Final Fantasy X is a game that tells you, as a kid, I'm like, oh, the game is telling me that religion is bad, that religion is evil, that it is a way to control
Ethan
people.
was an atheist, telling everyone he was an atheist.
Well, of course, I was at the time, so I'm like, this is validating my opinions. I was at the time, still am, but like, not like I've read it or...
No, I know what you... Yeah, it was definitely everyone, I feel like in high school at one point was like, yeah, guys, I'm an atheist. It's like, cool, dude.
For me, this was like 6th or 7th grade when I was playing this game. But then I'm like, because it's like, you take your main character, he's in a somewhat futuristic type of world. He's the world's greatest blitzball player. Imagine if soccer was played underwater, and by underwater I mean in a floating giant sphere of water.
Oh, I know.
They made that game like in the game. You could play it. I can't do it very well. And he's transported out of time. He's got daddy issues galore. He's insane about it. He's a whining brat. He's forced to grow up. He's not the main character. He's our protagonist and like the point of view character, but we have this Yuna character. And the whole thing is that like in this future world, 1,000 years after his world, there's basically no technology because sin came in the physical manifestation of this giant whale-like monster they call it sin, as punishment for mankind's like technological hubris. We went too far. We shouldn't have. That's not what we should do. And sin just comes by and destroys everything in this game. You watch multiple seaside towns get obliterated. You watch people die in this game. Horrible deaths. Pointless deaths. And the whole journey that you go on is sin needs to be put to slumber. Someone is a summoner, and that person needs to go on a pilgrimage to these different sacred sites. All the different Final Fantasy summons are represented by literally being like these holy kind of summons, to then go confront Sin and put him to slumber, and hopefully he stays asleep for a while, and eventually he'll come back. So it's a game of cycles. But, gee, we could kill Sin, but the church doesn't tell you that, because the church is using that to control the populace. The church is actually okay with some technology. They love Blitzball still, and the weird technology that allows water to float and like to be able to send TV signals around. They're okay with that because the sport is what unifies the people of this world. So they need something. And of course, you know, this is a game where the people that are dead actually have souls and they live in this other world, but they need to be sent there by the summoner. And guess what? This Grand Maester, man, he's really old. He's got to be well over 100. Oh, he's been dead forever, but he's still in charge and he refuses to be sent. And you got this other guy trying to politically gain the system. So I read that as a kid being like, wow, religion sucks because it's all a lie. As an adult, I'm like, no, this character Yuna knows this, chooses to continue to do this. She knows early on, even though the game doesn't tell you, she knows from the beginning she'll die doing this because her father was the previous summoner, High Summoner. She knows she's going to die. Why is she doing this? Her point of view character, Titus, is confused. And like that kind of perspective on religion as an adult now, to me, says it very differently. We have someone that knows the way the world is, but knows that if she plays her part, people can be happy for a little bit longer until someone else does it. You do kill Sin at the end. Sin physically forms into our protagonist character's father because he sealed his soul in there so that his son would hate him enough to kill Sin. It's a whole kind of goofy thing with that angle. But that game meant a lot to me as a kid, means even more to me as an adult. So that rounds out all my 10. Sonic Adventure 2 was my first Sonic game. I played a Walmart kiosk demo of him being chased by a truck. And that was that. Honestly, that's just it.
I love how you have a good rant about the other thing. It's like, and then Sonic just got chased by a truck.
Sonic's just fucking cool, and Shadow the Hedgehog is the coolest motherfucker in video games because of that one video game I played when I was.
That's why we'll get the trailer for the Sonic Movie 3 hopefully
tomorrow. That's right.
Speak into existence.
Well, it took us 8 rounds. I barely won. I enjoyed doing this stream, Devin.
This really did come on the wire. I'm glad it did. It makes it entertaining that way.
I think
but this was better than with different
type
things.
of
If anyone has any ideas, throw them in the comments. If this is watching this in the VOD or in the chat or any other place you can find this, I think that'd be cool. Because we could do something as like video games, movies. We could do something even goofier where it's Halloween candy or something. Maybe we do.
It's just got to be enough that if we were to make a top 10 list, you got to actually believe it. You know what I mean? For sure. Because I stand by my list. My list has changed over time, but Kingdom Hearts has never left number 1.
I said this at the very
never
start.
left number 2.
At the very start, I said if I had to make this list again, I could convince myself to flip some positions, or maybe there's other ones like I said, Peter Jackson's King Kong. I'm like, man, that was pretty fun as a kid and was really cool to me. Nier Automata maybe could fit in there. The more I thought about, the more games came back to me. But the ones that really came to me quick, I'm like, nope, these are more memorable for the first ones coming to me, if I'm being honest. And Counter-Strike I only put at the top. God War's my favorite franchise. I'm like, I've put so many hours in that game, and as you know, I don't have much time to play games, but I make time for Counter-Strike because I love playing with my friends, and it helps get my competitive juices out on a weekly basis that I can't maybe do forever physically if I'm playing Ultimate Frisbee or whatever, sport. So, no, it was tough. It was tough, but
there were games I used to have in my top 10 years ago that got booted because of playing games like Demon Souls and Nier Automata. I used to have Half-Life 2 in my list. And then I kind of became a Half-Life hater. I still like that game, but I'm like, man, it's overrated. The way people treat Valve as if they currently still make
It was just
a bunch of games.
ahead of its time, I think. At the time.
It was a
That's
great
why
game at
people-
the time, but I'm like, guys, we need to move on. Girl, move on. They clearly haven't, but yeah. And I used to have Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door on there, but I haven't played it since I played it the first time. And like, there's the remake out on Switch. I'm gonna play that and then maybe see. I also had Super Mario Galaxy 2 on my list at some point. It's in my top 10 years ago. That was my favorite Mario game. Still is my favorite Mario game. Yeah.
I'm gonna say War of the Monsters I also had on there. That was tough not to put on there. But I was like, Godzilla Save the Earth did what I wanted it to do more out of War of the Monsters. War of the Monsters probably could be 12, So I'm looking at our list though. Is there anything here that is connected or the same? I mean, we both had Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I guess that is the definitive Sonic Movie Show #1 game of all time. Pokemon, the era of Crystal,
Generation
Gold, and
2.
Silver.
Pokemon
Generation
Gold, Silver, Crystal. Yeah.
Just by default, based off
Yeah.
this list. If we had
And
to
that's why we're
combine
doing
the list-
Pokemon Fire Red Nuzlocke runs. Hey, initially we were going to do a Crystal Randomizer run. I have that ROM still. No, I don't.
Maybe after,
I have that game cartridge still with the pre-baked in randomizer. I haven't looked at it.
Maybe
Oh.
after our Nuzlocke, we'll
yeah,
see.
maybe.
Even as a one-off,
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say surprise. There's no Sonic on your list, but I realize you're a Sonic poser.
It's true.
Yeah.
If I had, I would have put Sonic Frontiers maybe at least top 15, maybe top 20.
And like, hey, I know Sonic Adventure 2 isn't as good as any of the other games on my list. It's certainly not as good as Bloodborne. But like, I just love that game. I just love that game.
Dude, mine's oozing in nostalgia. I'm sure if I played some of these, it wouldn't be as cool anymore. But at the time, it was, and that's all that really matters to me. So,
Yeah, some of my games on my list, like Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker, and Metal Gear Solid 3, and Demon Souls, and Metroid Prime, and Pokemon Gold and Silver. At one point, I would be like, cool, these are games I'm gonna play yearly. Like, I used to play through Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Blue once a year. I definitely played through Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker in my like college years, teenage years, once a year. Metal Gear Solid 3, I played through that so many times. Kingdom Hearts not as much, as a lot longer. But I just, those are games where I'm like, cool, I'm gonna have fun if I play this game again. I know I will. I can't say that for a lot of games these days. I can with Souls games. And I will say this. Bloodborne was in my top 10 right after I beat it, but I have a tendency to be a little bit like recency bias, where I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever, I love it so much.
of course, yeah.
And then I need to take a step back and be like, hold on a second. I do love Bloodborne a lot. It's in my top 30. My list, by the way, extends down like to at least 100. I used to have, back when I was really going crazy, I think I had over 300 games on my list. But then when you're like, you get to a point where you're like, does this really matter what spot this is in? Because they're all kind of in a soup. But I definitely have a top 50 that I went through somewhat recently. I have a couple more games to add in there and move stuff around. Because again, I beat and platinum Dark Souls 2 recently, and that's certainly in there.
You could do tiers. That was the reason we stopped doing the
Straight
list
up.
on Chronicles
Straight up.
of
Literally,
Diesel,
like
'cause-
basically after 50, I could just put them into tiers, personally. I don't know if the rest of that list will ever be a part of content for this. Maybe we could do a round 2 of another 10 games that we like.
I don't know. I'm trying to. I don't know if I have.
I
like
have a
that.
lot. My video games are my thing, man. So obviously, I have a lot more than.
If it was
but,
movies, I definitely could
and I
get
couldn't
that
do
for
movies.
you.
Movies,
But-
I wouldn't be as confident in. Movies, I would be. Hey, I could make a top 10 movie list. Maybe that's what
Maybe
we'll
that's
do
the-
next. But
Maybe that's the.
Oh.
It would make sense with our, I guess, whole shtick, right? Video
Yeah,
games and
yeah.
video game movie. So
ooh, what if we do video game movies? The ones we've reviewed.
we gotta do movies, then video game movies.
Fair,
We gotta
fair
do-
enough. And then in 30 years, there'll be enough to do our top 10 favorite Sonic movies.
Yeah, when there's Sonic 45
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
All right, Devin, I think it's time we wrap this baby up. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Hey, you're watching the video on demand version. You're watching the regular YouTube version. This is a video on YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to edit this into a smaller video. I don't think I will.
This was fun.
This is a
I
fun
like
stream.
that.
A nice hour and a half of the actual thing, and then we just kind of wax nostalgic for the last 20 minutes or so. But you in the chat, the comments right now, give me your top 10. Do it.
Oh, that'd be
Do
cool.
it.
I want to see. Are there any on here that you agree with, or you think is?
And I want to
I
put
wouldn't
this
say
out there as
controversial,
well.
but just one that was maybe surprising. That or a
Yeah.
game you haven't heard of.
Are you like, seriously? He put Kingdom Hearts in there? He's one of those guys? I am one of those guys. To make this even more special, all of your lists are important to me. But if you're 29, like Devin and I, it matters even more because then you're our age. Or if you're around 29, give or take 5 years, I'll say. Write that down in the comments below. Please subscribe to this video. God damn it! Please!
We need it.
I need it. Oh, Devin, I have a dream I need to tell
That
you
aged
about
us there too.
recently.
Okay.
Yes. I didn't play any SpongeBob games as a kid. I don't think. I think I maybe rented one.
I think I rented one as well, but I don't remember. Maybe my brother might have, but I don't know.
Okay, well, folks, we're saying goodbye. The only way we know how. Top 10. Bye.
10.